Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Hopefully you guys out there are having a great day. I know I am. I'm having a very interesting day because today's Valentine's Day, right? And if you don't know who I am or you're new to the channel, I'm a 19-year-old businessman, entrepreneur who spends all his time on his e-commerce business. That's who I am. I spend all my time, not all my time, a reasonable amount of time on a business that how do I phrase this? I'm like blanking right now. I sell beats to rappers. E-commerce business, that's my business. It's what I do. So being 19, I don't really have a Valentine. I don't really have, being someone that's so focused, I don't really have a Valentine. I'm really just, I am going out. I'm kind of Galentine's, whatever BS they call that. I don't know. But I'm doing that with my family, with my siblings. So we're doing a surprise thing. My brother's just like, screw it, let's go in the car, let's go. He said he has surprise deals last week. And me, I really don't keep track of days, especially Valentine's Day. I never really know when that is. I'm always like, isn't that at the end of the month? Like, shouldn't it be? I don't know why the 14th, but there's probably a reason. So something I wanted to talk about was I'm doing this all in one shot because I'm ending early today. I'm ending around 3-4 hours earlier than I usually would. I want to talk about off days, but not just off days, how off days affected me in the past. How it affected me in the past was, and I don't know if you guys relate to this, but it was all or nothing. It was very all or nothing. So I would do something and go all in and expect everything in return. And I'd go all in and expect all the results that I can get from that. But one off day can ruin my whole mojo. And I think of that day as like a useless day. But time's still going. I'm still aging. I'm still moving. If I did that for years, then eventually I don't have an outcome, right? Because to recover back, to come back to doing work took weeks, right? Just because of one slip up? Weird. Because coming back after a slip up is pain. It sucks. Why does it not suck now? And it does suck now, by the way. Like, I'm not going to say this is easy now. It's not. It's very annoying. But the reason why it doesn't bother me, the irritation in general doesn't bother me, why the pain doesn't really affect me, is because of actually the decisions I made, not the mindset. In the beginning, it was the mindset. When I was around 15 years old, and maybe you're in that place right now, where you don't really have the mindset. And you're just like, how do I change and alter my beliefs? That's what I did. I altered my beliefs. These days, how much can I alter my beliefs anymore? Right? It's like, at this point, I don't think I'm altering my beliefs to a level of insanity. Because I've already altered them so much. More information maybe, but actually changing my beliefs and being like, now I can shift a full-on point. I'm not going to say it can't happen. It can happen, but this is one of those things that is so solid in my mind, working for 10 years and doing these things. I have so much proof. Like, it's actual literal proof of people who have succeeded in the past, to psychology, right? And a little bit of neuroscience that I know. And it's like, discipline is not something that's fake, right? It's not something that just doesn't exist. It's a real thing, and you might know that out there. So now that I know that, I think a lot of people are in that boat. They have the mindset. You understand what you need to do. It's correct and not correct. That's why I was falling back so hard. It was because I knew it was correct, and I knew that I didn't do it was correct, or rather, not what's correct, what would be most helpful. And I didn't do what would be most helpful for me. So I kind of sabotaged me. So because of that hypocrisy, it's like, well, okay, well, now who are you? Are you someone that hates this guy? Are you someone that likes this guy? Right? It's like, imagine if you had a friend and you were best friends with him and you're hanging out and you helped him, he helped you, and then you just punched him in the face. Right? And you just completely sucker punched him. And you'd be like, what the hell? Are we friends or are we not? And there's a decision to be made. right? And that to me is a difference between now and then. That decision to be made, now I just choose work. Even on my off days, I'm still working, clearly. I'm still working. So yeah, even on my off days, I'm still going for it, still doing what I have to. And whereas before, I wouldn't. I would just keep punching myself in the face, practically, metaphorically. Keep punching myself in the face, and didn't feel good. Not that any punch in the face feels good, but this one especially, it didn't feel great. It felt awful. I really felt the pain, and to get back to doing this, it took a little bit. It would take you have to take little steps just to even get back. And then when I finally get to the place I want to be, it would crumble down again. Whereas now, I'm just always in the place I want to be. Because it's in my habits now, when I wake up, I do this. When I wake up, I do this. And then the pain just starts taking a back seat to the habits. Again, not to say it disappears. For me, it hasn't disappeared. Maybe it will. I don't think it will. At least it's my little theory. I think it's always going to be there. And honestly, it's not a problem for me. I wouldn't be human if it wasn't there, right? It's just like it's probably always going to be there. And some days less, some days more. Whatever, right? It's just like actually whatever. For me, it actually doesn't really matter. What doesn't matter is how painless this can be. That doesn't matter. I just want to learn how to do it so that I can achieve what I want to achieve. Screw the pain. The pain is, I'd say it doesn't bother me. It really bothered me, and it ran my life. I'm sick of that. I'm done with that. That version of me is over. Right? And it really takes a while for me to say this because, like I said, I've been doing this for years. And only a very few instances have I gone more than like 3 months, 4 months, maybe 6 months, right? I lost weight. It took me like 6 months to do it. Now I'm working out pretty much every day or every other day, at least once a week for the last year. For a year, it's almost a year I'm coming up on of working out literally every single day. To me, it's more impressive than abs. If you're actually working out and you're seeing a difference, and instead of, because you see a difference, you don't want to work out anymore, you just go and do it anyway because of habit's sake. Like, yeah, because I know it's going to help me in the future. But every time I work out, I'm not thinking, I got to do this because it's going to help me in the future. Maybe the first day I thought that. Maybe the second day I thought that. But on the friggin' 100th day, you're not thinking, you're not thinking about your reason. You're just going to do it. Right? It's the same thing with video games. First time you're like, I think this game's going to be fun. When you're already almost done with the game, or when you're halfway through, it's just habit. You just pick up the controller and you go. Right? For me, this is what's worked the most. Obviously, I'm already on day 45. Today's day 45. On the dot, today's day 45. So for me, it's working. And for me, these off days, like I said, I'm cutting it about halfway through my day. Halfway of my days can just be cut. Womp womp, too bad. Okay. If it was for other reasons, I'd be upset with myself. This is why the Super Bowl upset me when I went to a Super Bowl party, because that's something that I don't think I should be doing. Whereas this, it's like it's family. It beats this. Family completely beats this. Family's the reason I do this. So it's like, I'm not doing anything I don't think I should be doing. It's not like I'm going to gain nothing out of this. If anything, it might bring more perspectives, new ideas, right, to talk to you guys about. That's fantastic. Whereas in the past, I would just ignore. And that was my escapism. Ignoring. And I would hear that I had a day like this, and I would have to cut off my work, so I wouldn't work at all. Today's a useless day. It's like, well, that's just not how it works. At least in my mind, it can't work like that. It literally cannot. It has to work where if I have a chance to do it, I do it. It's like any other habit. Like I said, video games, when you have like 30 minutes or an hour segment where you could just do something instead of avoiding playing video games. You play the video games, right? That's how I feel about this. Instead of avoiding work, I just do the work. That's it, because I have time. So whenever I have time, I just do the work. It really isn't that complicated. And like I said, the mindset's one thing. This is a different. It's under the same umbrella of mindsets, but it's actually practical, and it actually involves taking action. Real action that's going to last, right? Action that's going to last. It's like this action's going to, hopefully, it's already lasted me this far, right? It's already got me this far. So now, as long as it gets me where I need to go, I'm chill. You know what I mean? Then let's go on the ride. Let's just take a back seat to the habits, as I was saying. Right? Just take a back seat to the habits. And maybe one day we actually might do something out of this. I might touch somebody who watches this. Like I actually might deeply emotionally touch somebody. Or make them feel good about their day, or there are plenty of things that can come out of not just this, but every little thing I do in work. I could help rappers, actually help rappers. And as I gain more money, I can full on help them to become the people that they want to be. That to me is bigger than money. And post that, like after that, then I can move on to sales to help out more people. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's just about helping people. And then you get the money to help yourself. Right? You just get the money and then you help yourself. Then you go back to helping people. You know what I mean? It's like, and you give away the money, right? It's like, it's all this circle of it's all this circle of like help. It's all this circle of improvement. Whether you're improving somebody else's life or improving your own. But if you're not improving anything, right? If you're not getting better at anything, you're always getting, this is interesting. I was always getting better at something. That's a very interesting point. In my past, I was always getting better at something. It just depends what I wanted to get better at. I was getting really good at being lazy. And finding out different ways to ignore work. I was a good skill that I had. And I had a lot of experience in that skill. I had like 6 months of experience straight at one point of avoiding it, not getting back to the work. In the beginning of producing back in 2022, I remember I did masterclass. I did that whole route of like masterclass, and Armin van Buuren has a lesson on there. He's a great producer, and Timbaland, another fantastic producer. And I would watch their videos about how to produce and things like that. And what I learned like everything. I learned everything I need to know for a basic level. And I do my own songs. I get embarrassed by my own songs. And I start up again, then I lose it. Then I start up again, then I lose it. And we had been on a vacation. And I put off on The Hobbit. I was reading The Hobbit. I put off on it. I didn't want to continue reading The Hobbit. I was done with it. Kind of. I just ignored it. Then I got back to it. And I was reading 3 books at the same time. I was reading Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. That's Tarantino's book, the book version of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I was reading The Hobbit and Watchmen. And it was a strange time because I would read a chapter of each, or an issue in terms of Watchmen. I would read an issue of the comic and then go back to the other one, And on that vacation, I forgot exactly where we were, but I was in my bed in the Airbnb, and I was reading through The Hobbit, and I couldn't believe, I was feeling guilty that I was feeling guilty that I even dropped it in the first place. It's like, how did I drop this book? How did I stop reading it? I mean, this was amazing. Yeah, I miss these characters. It's like leaving my family. Imagine just leaving my family right now. Yeah, screw it, see you guys. And then coming back and being like, how did I leave? Why did I just ignore you and put you in the back? Well, that's the thing about family. They're always there because, they're obviously also living beings. Whereas something like work, you have to put in the effort. But with them, especially a good family, a family that's actually helped me so much, right? My family, it's like they never leave. It's like they're always nagging me, which means, vice versa, they're also, vice versa, which also means that they continuously want me to improve. There are different types of nagging, of course. Your family may not want you to improve. I understand that. But for me, they have. And I'm very lucky to say that they have wanted me to improve. They want me to move forward with as much strength as possible. And yeah, that helped me out. And hey, they'll slip up too, of course. They slip up too. And I go vice versa. And I'm the irritating one who won't leave. Right? And then I become that person to them. And like I said, it's a circle of helping each other. Right? And we can look at life. I was listening to What a Wonderful World by Louis, a classic trumpet player. And he was saying, he's awesome. Come on, he's epic. And he's singing it, and he's like, "She's the red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you," which is a great Valentine's Day song, right? It's not that line though. It's the line about the he sees children. I watch them grow. There ain't much more. Something else that I know or something. And I always like makes me very emotional. It's like I see babies cry or whatever, and he watches them grow. He watches children grow, and there's not much more you can even ask for. Like that is everything. Whereas there is an argument for the other side. The world is so messed up, right? And weirdly, he comes out with this song about what a wonderful world, right? I mean, he comes out with this song saying, "No, this world is great. This is the best." And it's so weird. It's like, what a wonderful world. And you're like, huh. Yeah, I forgot that it was a wonderful world. I always forget that it's a bad one too. Not bad one, but I always forget that it's a horrific one too. It's a horrific world as much as it is a wonderful one, right? What's the balance there? I don't know, because I don't know every situation. I can't even find out every situation. It'd be impossible. Pretty much. So it's kind of like, if you think of it as a wonderful world, then you're ignoring everything that's bad. And if you're thinking about it as a horrific world, then you're ignoring everything that's wonderful. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like, whoa. So you take your pick. What are you going to ignore? At least in this moment, what are you going to ignore? Because you're ignoring a lot even just by just watching me. You're ignoring a lot in the world. Just to focus on one point because you chose to designate your time or whatever it is. Spend your time with me today. Right? We're always ignoring certain things at certain times. It's such an interesting idea. All right, well, on that note, I'm going to end the YouTube video here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and see you guys tomorrow. Peace.